watch the video at 1.5 to 2x for more convenience. 3x पे भी try कर सकते हो भाई. By the way, today's video is going to be about 0-1 matrix problem. Okay, so let's see. वैसे अटेम्प्ट तो किया है मैंने. क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है यार. एनीवेज, व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? काफी शॉर्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन है. गिवन m क्रॉस n बाइनरी मैट्रिक्स मैट नाम का मैट्रिक्स है. रिटर्न द डिस्टेंस ऑफ द नियरेस्ट जीरो फॉर ईच सेल. द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन टू सेल शेयरिंग अ कॉमन एज इज 1. तो व्हाट दिस प्रॉब्लम इज सेइंग कि हमारा ये जीरो है, ये जीरो है, हर तरफ जीरो जीरो है. अब जीरो के अलावा जितने भी नंबर हैं, are they going to be like how far this number except zero, how far these numbers are distance, having distance from particular zero number. Like if I would be saying that this one, the center of the cell 1 cross 1, row 1 and column 1 cell is just a one cell away from all the zeros, and this one is also one cell away from all the zeros. Chota. But if I would be talking about this cell, थोड़ी सी पेन होती तो अच्छा होता. If I would be talking about this particular this one, then it's not like diagonally it's one cell away from the zero. But if you would be taking the direction of just 4 direction, then you have to go first in this cell and then you can come here. So it's taking 2 step. So it's 2 step away. So we would be returning 1, 2 here, and then 1 here, 1 here. See the cell? Here you need to return 2. So basically you have to return the whole matrix. So now what's the approach we can go with? So the approach right now we can take is we have to first BFS with iterative method. And what we have to do first, intuition is, our intuition is to store the distance, and every single time the distance will be increasing. Okay, and where we have to store the distance? In the queue along with I and J. So this is what we have to do. Push the I, J and these three variables. Push these things into the queue. Okay, because we want the distance and we have to update the cell. So update a cell. Sorry. Yeah. We have to update the cell value of the cell basically. If the distance is shorter, क्योंकि अगर हर डायरेक्शन में कोई भी एक डायरेक्शन में अगर शॉर्टर डिस्टेंस मिलेगा तो हम we will update the value of the particular cell. When we will be doing this? While exploring the children's. I am just going in the reverse way. और explore कब करेंगे? When we will be doing BFS. BFS using iterative method जिसमें queue का use होगा, and then we will need it to initialize the queue. It's the queue with all zeros, or but we also have to initialize metrics, basically answer metrics, which stores int max, basically infinity, the largest number as much as it could be. So these are the 3 steps that we have to follow. Second, this is the first step. Okay, and this is basically 3.1, and these are the subparts. And definitely exploring the children's using delta array, delta array method. Okay, so these are the 2 things we have to do. Now कोड में हम लोग एक चीज कर लेते हैं, we can copy it from here. Okay, so I just wanted to zoom it a little bit. Here we go. Okay, so here are the our first line we have to do. Okay, close it. And M, we will be taking the direction, the size of the matrix, and what size, that is row. And now we can get the column from each row. Okay, now it's declared. Now we have to execute the first part. Basically initialize the answer matrix, which stores int max. So इसको हम लोग बनाने के लिए 2D vector कॉल करेंगे. We can take a row, this column, and then particular row, and initialize it with int max. So it's run. अब हम लोग सेकेंड पार्ट ले लेंगे. What is the second part? Initialize the queue. To initialize the queue, we have to declare the queue, and we will be declaring it with the 3 things. Now you are thinking why I use tuple. It's more convenient in order to use, वरना फिर तुमको ऐसे यूज करना पड़ता है queue, then pair, and then int, and pair. See how difficult, like it's more hectic. So that rather than this, I just go with the tuple. और ये 3 चीजें क्यों? क्योंकि हम लोग को i लेना है, j लेना है, and distance लेना है, जो ये स्टोर करेगा. Now we have to just initialize it with the loop. So we can go first row i plus plus, and then in j particular column, if यहाँ पे हम लोग सारे rows के जितने भी zero हैं, we have to just push it into the queue. So if I and j, if particular cell is 0, then push it into the queue. What to push? All the location like I and j with the distance जो कि हमारी 0 है, क्योंकि 0 से हमारी 0 तक distance 0 है. And we also have to update the this answer vector. Why? Because we are taking a copy, shallow copy of the thing, and rest of the place it will be storing same as older solution, like int max. Okay. Just put it there. Now the third part is this. You know, I'm trying to make the simplest as possible as it can be, because I know there are tons of people in YouTube already doing this in a much better way, like explaining the code as well as the intuition. But I know there are some of the difficulties raises up when you go through the code also. So sometimes people like me would able to understand through the code more rather than intuition. So intuition तो हमारा ये कमेंट्स है जो कि मैं स्टेप्स ले ही रहा हूँ. एंड हियर आवर कोड गोज. सो क्यू जब तक एम्प्टी नहीं हो जाता, वी हैव टू आइटरेट. बट वी कैन गेट ऑटो चलानी है भाई. हम ऑटो, you can get the distance and rows and columns from the front of the queue, then pop it. colon बन जाता है. Now you have to explore children's. See 3.1 part. Okay. Now what exactly is going to be? मेरी तो टाइपिंग स्पीड स्लो हो जाती है क्योंकि I have to set up for the mic using my phone. Now I'm gonna use the delta method to iterate on all the direction for children's. Going to name it as a nr for child row using r, and then mc is equal to c plus dt. Now you might be thinking, where does this dt coming from? So I'm going to define it here. Now this is up, now right, bottom, left, now up. So I का मतलब है this will continue till 0, and I plus 1 means row, means column would be starting from 0 to -1. And we also have to check the boundary. Check. So nr must be greater or equal to 0, and also nr must be smaller than m, and nc must be greater or equal to 0, and c must be smaller than m. If boundary check is done, then we have to check the value of the cell. Answer nr and c should be like, if the distance we are getting older value of the cell, that is we already have. If this is format हो जाता तो okay, now it's good. So if this is smaller, then we can replace the value and also push the nr and see basically child को push कर दो along with the distance. See, my typing speed is right now it's quite slow क्योंकि मुझे थोड़ा सा संभाल के लिखना पड़ रहा है. Now I think it's done. वेक्टर भी हो गया है. तो अब हम लोग मैंने मैंने सही बताऊँ तो मैंने रन कर दिया था. By the way, I need to show also. Okay, now we can submit it. Here is your answer. You can see, and thank you for watching.